In militant attacks, long Poonch operations concern and very few answers. The long drawn operation in the Poonch Heights at Vatar Durian completed its 12th day on Friday without success. Security forces are grappling with two major situations in Jammu and Kashmir: the killings of civilians in Kashmir and a hunt for the militants who killed 9 soldiers last week in Jammu's Poonch area. The long drawn operation in the Poonch Heights at Bhatta Durian completed its 12th day on Friday without success. Security sources said there was yet no clarity on the numbers of militants or if they were in one or several groups. Not one of the militants has been cited yet. All that can be said from the firefights in which the soldiers lost their lives is that they appear to be well armed and well trained, a clue that they are unlikely to be from Punch or from Kashmir across the Pir Panjal rain. A senior security official said nothing can be said with the certainty at this point. The army has laid a cordon in the area, which is about 12 kilometers inside the line of control. Sources said technology was being used in the search. Former officials who have served in Jammu and Kashmir told the Indian Express that the terrain is tough with low visibility because of densely packed trees. It's the same as a game of hide and seek. The advantage lies with those who are hiding than with the person searching, said Lieutenant General Said Atta Hussain, retired, who commanded the Srinagar 17 Corps from 2010 to 2012. On Friday, the search operation yielded two small boxes suspected to be IEDs. Army Pro Lieutenant Colonel Devendra Anand said both were destroyed on the spot. Drones are reported to have been deployed over the thick pine forest and to detect movement or any hideouts that the militants may be using. It remains unclear, though, whether the militants are still in the forest or have escaped. Army sources said there had been no contact with the militants and exchange of fire since last Saturday. The intense firing heard in the area on Friday morning was speculative fire by the search team that got no response. There is a curfew in the area and people have been asked to stay indoors. Nearly 2 weeks into the operation that began on October 11, the army has made no official statement. 5 soldiers were killed in the Chamrer forest in the Suranketo Tehsil of Punch that day. Another 4 soldiers were killed in October 14. But concerned that this should have happened in an area that has been largely free of militancy for most of the last 2 decades since the Hilka episode of April-May 2003 was evident from the visit of Army Chief General M.M. Narvane to Punch and Rajouri earlier this week to review the security situation both in the forward areas at the LOC and other parts of the two districts. Lieutenant General Dipendra Singh Hooda, who served as Northern Army Commander from 2014 to 16, said the presence of militants in the area was really worrying. He said one of the reasons why the recent militancy of the valley has not spread to former hotbeds in Jammu is the absence of local support. To my mind, if it is true that this group has been there for about 2 months, that is the real worry. The question then is there is change in the attitude of the local people, Lieutenant General Hooda said. The militants managed to evade detection for so long has also raised red flags. Meanwhile, two videos surfaced, in one which a man speaking in Kashmiri describes how he and fellow militant and killed soldiers on October 11. The other has a long text message in perfect English with mood music playing in the background challenging the army to find them. In the valley, the police are yet to zero in anyone directly linked on the spate of killings of civilians in Srinagar and South Kashmir to Pandits, a Sikh, 4 non-local migrant daily wage earners and 2 Kashmiri Muslims. The killings were claimed by a Sadoi group called the Resistance Front. Over the past few days, police have detained over 700 youths, and while the investigations have drawn a blank, the detentions have triggered angry reactions in the valley. PDP leader Mehmood Mufti has called it collective punishment. The coming together of these incidents has changed the security atmospherics in J&K for the apparent sanguine to crisis mode. There were no cross-border infiltration from the beginning of the year until July. Security officials said this was largely due to the February 24 renewal of the India-Pakistan ceasefire understanding, as cross-border firing has often provided cover for infiltrators. But there have been several infiltration attempts in July, Army sources said. Security officials said between July and the end of September, 10 to 50 militants have crossed over. General Narvane said at the recent India Today conclave that while the renewed ceasefire agreement has worked until July, from the end of July, these sporadic incidents have started again. It is again following the pattern of 2003 when it started with an odd incident and then rose to as good as not having a ceasefire. He said that over the last month we again see renewed attempts at infiltration and have foiled 2-3 such attempts. Beyond that too, there has been 3 incidents of proper ceasefire violation, that is, one post firing at the other post, mostly in the area of Samsawari range in North Kashmir, he said. After an infiltration attempt on September 18 at Uri, the army conducted a massive combing operation in the area and said it had killed 3 terrorists and caught a 19-year-old Pakistani cadre of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Several security officials at the Indian Express spoke to said it was not a coincidence that the spurt in violence has followed the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan 2 months ago. As security officials acknowledged that there was a change in the mood in the valley since the victory of the Taliban and that this was a matter of concern. Recruitment into militant groups has been continuing apace through the year. Security officials estimate that around 100 young Kashmiri men have been recruited this year, many of them hybrid or part time militants, officials said. They may be enlisted for specific missions. Most of the recent spurt of killings were carried out with easy to conceal pistols. IGP Kashmir Vijay Kumar said after an encounter in Shofian on October 20 that an elite commander behind the October 18 killings of 2 daily wage workers from Bihar in Kulgam had been killed. But there is no assurance that the killings will stop. On October 16, hours after Kumar declared that 2 out of 5 terrorists in Srinagar have been killed and 3 others were close to getting neutralized, a street vendor from Bihar was shot in the head at point blank range in Srinagar and a carpenter from UP was killed in Pulwama. Thank you.